Welcome back. Senate Republicans are now calling on the DOJ to appoint a special counsel to investigate former President Barack Obama over newly declassified information in the Russia collusion hoax. AG Pam Bondi has already formed a strike force to investigate declassified Obama-era evidence after the DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, said that Obama should be criminally investigated. Joining me now is Texas Congressman Dan Crenshaw, a member of the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, your thoughts on all of this as your former colleague in the House, Adam Schiff, who is now a senator from California, claims everything he said about this in the last few years is accurate.
Yeah, like Adam Schiff is one of the biggest liars and horrible people in Congress that we know of. You know, when Kevin McCarthy took the Speaker's role, the first thing he did to fix the Intelligence Committee was to fire Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff had politicized that committee, and what he would do is he would come out of a classified discussion where unfortunately we cannot relay information to the public, and he would say, look, I can't tell you the details, but here's the conclusion. You know, it's pretty obvious that President Trump colluded with the Russians. It's pretty obvious. We can see all the details that Russia preferred President Trump over Clinton. And it was very difficult for Republicans on that committee to refute that, because in the process of refuting that, they would have to also reveal classified information and classified reports where the intelligence community, from the CIA to FBI analysts to across the board, were saying, hold on, we don't have high confidence in any of these assessments. This is a lot of times it's single source reporting. It is unvetted. They're relying on things like the Steele dossier. It'll undermine the entire thing. And so what Tulsi Gabbard did was basically just release all of those emails. A large part of that report that was released was actually a product of our Intelligence Committee. It was put together back when Devin Nunes was in charge. And it's finally being released. I would also encourage people to go to the CIA website and read it's a shorter report. It was put out by John Radcliffe, and it really summarizes how this top-down bias was infiltrated into the final analytical conclusion. And the other thing that Tulsi Gabbard released was the original IC assessment from 2016, which pretty much states the opposite. It says, look, we don't really have any evidence of any of this happening or occurring. It's unlikely, blah, blah, blah. Then they go on and on and on. And then because of what Barack Obama's intent was and what his guidance was to DNI Clapper, to CIA Director John Brennan, they somehow turned that into this Russia collusion hoax. Now, look, here, my argument has always been, after even the Mueller report came out, and there was basically nothing to see there, I think that vindicated Donald Trump. Then the Durham report came out. I think that further vindicated Donald Trump. This is the final nail in the coffin. And it's not just a nail in the coffin, it's more than that, because we're actually doing criminal referrals to the DOJ for a lot of these people. Clapper, Brennan, I think Obama himself is on that. And they're laughing it off like it's no big deal. It is a big deal, because we can probably prove that they deliberately broke our standards of tradecraft analysis.
Yeah.
These are really important standards. It's what keeps analysis objective. You have to say what the counter arguments are. You have to say that this is only one source saying this. You have to put those out into the report, and they didn't. And if there might or might not be a criminal element to that, that's for the DOJ to decide.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, at this point, it's 10 years later. There was a statute of limitations in place. I'm just wondering, you know, I mean, people are so frustrated with all of this. And we've been hearing about it for so long. I wonder if some people's eyes glaze over this, even though this is a very serious situation. It put a sitting president on defense, making him handicapped in terms of his ability to put an agenda forth. They also were spying on him. He was constantly on defense, not to mention that your colleagues on the left completely ignored the actual real adversary at the time, which was Communist China. And China was doing everything to undermine America at the time. And they're over there trying to take down their political enemy with lies over Russia, completely ignoring the fact that China was abusing the visa process. China was stealing intellectual property and the rest. Meanwhile, all you heard all day long on every network was, you know, Trump colluded and there was Russia hacking the election. Watch this. Here's a bit of that.
Certainly say with confidence that there is significant evidence of collusion between the campaign and Russia.
U.S. authorities are seeing if those emails we just talked about are connected to an ongoing Russian disinformation effort.
This president needs to be impeached. I believe that. I believe there was collusion.
Mr. Trump is seeing more and more of the walls closing in on him, which is why he is becoming increasingly desperate.
The presidency is effectively a Russian op, right? You know, partisan warfare between Republicans and Democrats. This is international warfare against our country.
This is evidence of willingness to commit collusion.
Specifically, Willie, I think what it means is that a federal judge found that people in Trump's organization were colluding with the Russians.
This cloud about collusion with Russia will hang over him no matter where he stands.
I personally think it's over. I don't think there's anything that can be done that can stop this at this point. Cacophony, this gushing of lies, problems, questions, chaos that will stop this presidency in its tracks.
It does look like collusion. It does look like he's listening to Putin more than he is American intelligence, and frankly, I've never seen that before.
I mean, Congressman, all these geniuses, right? And it was nonsense. It was absolute lies and made-up stories. I don't think you can underestimate what that did, how that shaped the public's perception of Donald Trump and the sitting president in the Oval Office.
It's hard to listen to all those clips, and I could go to each one of them and pick them apart. You know, when for instance, there was something else that needs to be mentioned if nobody wants to go read these reports. But you know, they're relying on like a single anonymous email sent to the campaign as proof of this collusion and conspiring to have this meeting. It's just all based on nothing. Like if we were as a normal intelligence community, as an operator, if we were relying on that kind of intelligence to do an operation, we'd be insane. And you know, you mentioned that they're geniuses. You know, in a sense, they are, because what their entire intent this whole time was to lie and to bog down President Trump's term. It was to do that. And President Trump he's talking about this as an election issue. And the reason he's doing that is because I think he rightfully believes that when we say stolen election, it's because of things like this. It's because that there was lies told about him and spread throughout the media. So you just those clips that you just played are, again, that was, and that's just a sliver of them.
That's right.
They were played so often that people just had no choice but to believe it, because look, they don't know how to sift through this. They don't know what I even mean by tradecraft and not like analytical tradecraft. They don't even know what I mean by that. You know, and so we've got to put this all out, and we've got to explain it to people. And also so that it never happens again. And that's the benefit of the criminal referrals. We want deterrence from now on.
And that's what I'm saying. It was impossible to underestimate the way that this shaped the public's view of President Trump during the first term. It completely handicapped him. So they were very successful in doing so. And it was all based on made-up stories, one political campaign trying to take down another political campaign. But in doing so, there was a massive dereliction of duty as well, by ignoring the real issues that matter to the American people. You know, security of our country, national security with China on the march. So there's so much to delve through. We still haven't seen accountability. We'll see if Tulsi Gabbard makes a difference here, because it's important for the public to understand what took place. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thank you. Deanne Crenshaw joining us this morning.